Good morning, everybody. Joe Ciaccio here. Happy Monday. Hope everybody had a fantastic Easter. Let's kind of get started on some things. I want to tap on some things that every now and then we need to get kind of kicked around and get bullied a little bit to where we kind of get that brain rattling a little bit better in a more positive sense, to where you're kind of moving forward instead of always going forward 2 steps, coming back 2 steps or 3 steps. So the hardest thing for anybody to do is to accept that you're not doing something the right way, especially for men. We've got this big old huge ego. What we say is the way it is, and we're going to fight till the end knowing we're wrong, but yet we don't want to admit we're wrong. So I'm not really telling you to admit anything out loud, yet if you do, I think you will progress a lot better. You have to ask yourself, are you totally happy where you are today in your life as an insurance agent? You pleased with your sales, the closes, the referrals you're getting, the door knocking? Are you overcoming objections the way you should be? Are you kind of stuttering and oohs and ahs and not sure exactly what to do? Here's my thought. You need to take a soft step backwards, regroup, and start learning what you need to learn. You need to tell yourself, I need to regroup. I need to go a little bit slower. I need to remember more of the stuff that I learned. Because what ends up happening, you start doing the same thing wrong over and over. And what it becomes, that becomes the right way for you to do it. And now you're trying to break that habit. And I will tell you, it's going to be a little bit hard. When I'm up here speaking with you guys, I get a little nervous twitch in my throat. Speaking of a nervous twitch, do is that I listen to myself after the call to see how I sound. Or my hands on my face when I'm talking to you. Am I clearing my throat too much? So no matter who you are, there's always room for improvement. Business, personal life, social life, whatever you do, there's always something you can do to do a little bit better. Now, let's get down to insurance. Okay. Here's something I've had for a long time, and I haven't said it in a while, is that when we go to a house, we need to draw a picture for these people of what we're going to do. We need to tell them stories about how we've helped other families out. We need to tell them how we've actually delivered a check to somebody. And if you have not, state, I have been on the phone, I have talked to other agents who delivered a policy, delivered a check, and it's a very sad thing, yet that's part of my job. My job is to help you get started, follow you through, make sure your payments are done on time, change beneficiaries when needed, and then when that sad day comes many years from now, I'm going to come and give your daughter Marie and your son Anthony a check for the program you got today for $12,500. We need to tell people what we're going to do. We need to let them know that when we leave the house, that we're telling them what's going to happen. Because if you don't say something, their mind may float. How's my daughter going to get that check? How much money are they really going to get? Is it going to be mailed to them? Is it going to be delivered to them? Those are things you need to discuss with your clients to give them that warm, fuzzy feeling that you're going to be there with them. So when you're going through this process of telling stories, this is something I've had here. This is a guy named by Ben Feldman. They say from back in the old days, he's an American businessman and a world-renowned salesperson. And his quote is that don't sell life insurance. Sell what life insurance can do. Don't sell life insurance. Sell what life insurance can do for these people. The reason we get these programs here is to help you out. When that sad day comes, we're going to give you a check. Not like you've got to buy life insurance, so when you buy the life insurance, when you die, the money's there. You're actually selling it, you're doing everything together, but it's all in your words on how you come across. Something else. We talk about coaching, we talk about you trying to change what you do. What happens is that when you start making changes, you've got to make those your new habits. And when you make these your new habits, what you're doing is you're building a stronger structure for you. So when you get into a tight spot, you're going to know what to say. Think about this here. You're a basketball player. You're running down the court, you go to shoot the ball, and boom, you get fouled. Now you're at the free throw line. Going to get 2 shots. When you're sitting there, you've got all those people behind you, behind the goal, hollering and screaming at you, the people on the side hollering and screaming, and you're going, oh my God. You're dribbling that ball a little bit to take a shot, and you get there, and now you get nervous. Oh my God, all this noise to start bothering you. So this is what we have to do. We've got to somewhat visualize ourselves, basketball court, free throw line. If you're a golfer, you're there trying to hit a ball. If you're a young lady, you play volleyball. When the ball comes to you, how you got to come up, pop the ball down. You've got to put yourself in like a little 3-foot circle when you're in the home with a client. You got to let them penetrate that hole. But you can't think about nothing on the outside. The screaming you had there, the money you owe, this you did, the sale you just made. You got to kind of go into a shell to where the only thing that is allowed in that shell, how to overcome an objection, what to say when they say this here, what rebuttal should I say, how do I tell the story about me? And when you're in that little shell, you're saying nothing's going to come in here. I've got this down. I've learned some different ways, and I've actually entitled myself to new habits. When you start doing this here, your sales are going to go up. Now, come back to this one here. This is something here that Jay's got somewhere in his computer, and I'm going to have him bring it out of the archives. Okay? And this is from American Amicable. They send it on every policy. We're going to get it in a Word document, send it out to everybody. And basically what it is saying that when you sell a policy to somebody with American Amicable, you're going to get this. It's going to say, attention, please read. And it's telling the client in so many words, don't change your policy. Don't listen to the other person. So this is something I'm going to send to you guys for you to sit and put your name in it. And on the bottom, you can put down the carriers you represent. American Amicable, you can do on 10 of them. You can do 10 with Transamerica, 10 with Royal Neighbors, etc. And put your name in there. So when somebody buys something from you, you can pull this paper out with another program that Jay's going to send you, is that I Am Your Policy, and give those to people. I Am Your Policy is going to tell them what the purpose of the policy is for, how this policy is going to work and help you out when you pass away. This here is that when another agent comes to the house, hopefully your client's going to sit and say, you know, Jack Skaggs really did a nice job. He explained everything properly. He crossed his T's, dotted his I's. He told me how he lives in Tampa. He told me how he'll come here no matter what I need. If I need to change beneficiaries, just call me. I'll come to your house. All of the things that you should say, which is part of your job. And then hopefully this here will say, please hold horses. So when you get it, look at it. There's many reasons. A replacement may not be the best thing in your interest. You want to lock these into your people's mind. Another thing you want to lock in their minds is that when they send in a lead, my mind's going 90 miles an hour. They send in a lead. What you're going to do is say, listen, whenever you get any more of these leads here, just kind of tear them up, throw them in the trash. You don't need anything because you have me now. Here's a card for you. Here's a card for your refrigerator. What I've done is I've got some coffee cups. I'm going to get one out of the car for you. So whenever you need anything, you call me. So whenever these come in here, throw in the trash. You're going to have somebody else come here, going to try to sell you something that you don't need because what you got today is the best plan. Okay? Throw it in the trash. Okay? Now, here's some things here that I know we all do. And you need to kind of talk to yourself. You need to understand when you're speaking with people, it's a two-way conversation. You got to allow them to answer questions that you ask. And the secret is to ask a question, be quiet, let them answer so they feel they're participating in this interview underwriting process you're going through. People like for you to drive the ship. They respect you because you are a certified life insurance agent or health insurance agent. They look up to us for advice and direction. And the more professional we speak, and we don't use these big long words to try to impress with all the brains we have. You talk to them just like they're normal folks, okay? And you let them know that your job is to do this, 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 and this. Throughout this process, you have any questions, I want you to ask me so we can get this moving forward to where we can get you set up in a program that you can afford, okay? What ends up happening when we're talking to a client or talking with a client, you need to make sure you don't speak too fast. Make sure you do not interrupt. Make sure that you stop, let them answer questions. Try to use voice inflection where you mention certain words and you raise your voice on that certain word or phrase that you want to catch their ear. You try and not want to deviate. Now you're going to deviate a little bit because we're human, but you don't want to start going way out here or way out here when you're talking, because then it's kind of hard to bring yourself back in. You don't want to deviate, and you do not want to make all these huge changes of something you just learned yesterday. You want to kind of incorporate these new things that you're learning into your presentation on a slow basis to where your flow goes good. Now, here's about 10, 12 things I want you guys to sit and think about. We talk about this, I'm going to say it till I'm blue in the face. Use a carrier that does Social Security billing. You don't know which one they are, go to the back office. They're all listed for you right there. Okay? Underwriting shortcuts. You need to know the underwriting shortcuts that are in the agent manual. You can print them out. You can leave them on your computer. When you're speaking with somebody, they tell you they're diabetic on insulin. You got to know which carrier takes them. Does a carrier sit and say, okay, you got to be over 50 when you started insulin. You got to be over 30 when you started insulin. Were you on insulin or diabetic before the age of 45? All of these things here, you have to know. When you come across a client, excuse me, that has some type of anxiety, bipolar, schizophrenia, you've got to know what carrier to go with. We talked about all this on other calls. It's all in the carrier, what's it called, Jay? The carrier
placement
what?
guide?
Huh?
Placement guide?
The carrier placement guide. Thank you. The carrier placement guide is going to tell you which carrier is going to accept your client, COPD, emphysema, seizures, all that stuff there. It's kind of like a little tool that you have there. Okay? Remember to try to show higher premiums, not to hurt the client, but to let the client know there's something higher that's available for them. They may not buy it, yet if you don't show those higher premiums, they can't buy it, okay? What do you do when a client cancels? You just call them on the phone. My recommendation is to go to their house, walk in with one piece of paper, find out why they want to cancel, try to save it, get it back on the books, go on to the next person. Are you guys taking your time when you're doing the cool down at the end? Or are you rushing because you got an appointment in 15 minutes where the person may not even be there? Remember the old saying, a bird in hand is worth more than two in the bush. An old saying, but it's the truth. Work with what you have, because you know what you have is a moneymaker. The other person may not be there. Leave behinds. Are you getting with the carriers to where they send you leave behinds to where you can leave them with the clients to let them know the carrier that you got them with, how the program works, and they look very impressive when you hand them to them. Business cards. You have business cards. My recommendation when you run out of business cards is to get business cards with your picture on them. Okay? We get them from, who we get them from, Jay? The business cards? I'll tell you in a second.
Yeah.
Okay. We get business cards from a certain company, get with Heather, where I think we get a 10% discount, 20% discount. They're nice, they're quick, they're bright, and they're very impressive. Okay? Most important thing, as I said at the beginning, got to learn new habits. When you learn these new habits, what ends up happening is going to give you more confidence when you're speaking. The more confidence you have when you're speaking with a client, speaking with a husband and wife, a mother and a son, when you have that, you got that good feeling. When you speak with people, it's going to come out a lot smoother. There's going to be not a lot of oohs and ahs and let me think about it, I'm really not too sure. When you're unsure about something, just stop, pause, regroup, think, and speak again. Okay? Think about that there. Just take your time, go slow, think about the things that you're hearing on this call today, and please try and incorporate these things here. Do not rush, don't deviate, and prepare yourself. Okay? What's it called?
Is it Vistaprint?
Vistaprint.
There's one? Okay.
Yeah. V-I-S-T-A print. Vistaprint.
Okay.
Great company, great turnaround time, great prices. You send them a picture, they'll do it all for you. So with that said, guys, hit the road. Hope you had a great Easter yesterday. Hope you have a great week. We're in the first week of quarter 2. What do you want to do better quarter 2? You want to order more leads? You want to ask for more referrals? You want to study more? Do you want to learn this, learn that there? Pick out a couple things that you don't feel strong about. Work on them. And by working on them, things should get better. Hit them hard, guys. We appreciate you and we love you. Bye-bye.